Okay, seeing that we've reached the hour of 8:30, I'd like to call the Law and Government Liquor Public Meeting Committee meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please, this morning, Kath?
Van Hoff.
Present.
Sullivan.
Here.
Kunkel.
Here.
Sauger.
Here.
Campbell. Shorten.
Here.
Alsop.
Here. And before we actually start the agenda, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. It's our first meeting of the year. I want to acknowledge our new administrator sitting in the audience, Scott Hartman, who used to be our deputy, and Alicia, who has been elevated to deputy administrator. So congratulations. Happy New Year. And can I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Mr. Shorten, seconded by Ms. Van Hoff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Any public comments? Are you still doing that as administrator? I think you need to pass that off.
I have to still delegate this. So.
Okay.
Nope, none. Did we send up? Anybody? Last call? Alex? No? Okay.
Any member comments this morning? Seeing none, moving on. We have a presentation this morning, and I'm going to ask my vice chair, Michael Shorten, to read. Mark, can I ask you to kind of come up? We're going to embarrass you a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
I think you all are aware Mark is retiring officially after 40 years of service. I think he's been in this committee as long as I can remember, and so I thought it was important that we acknowledge his services and give him a send-off. Mr. Kunkel.
I'd like to make a motion to not let him retire because we need him.
I'd love to second.
Can I get a second?
I think we could get a second. Unfortunately, I think that's in his hands. So, but without further ado, Michael, can I ask you to read the proclamation, please?
Absolutely. Proclamation honoring Mark Cook upon his retirement as McHenry County Public Defender. Whereas, on August 1st, 1985, Mark Cook began his career in the McHenry County Public Defender's Office and became the McHenry County Public Defender on April 22nd, 1992, and has devoted 40 years of distinguished service to the people of McHenry County and the state of Illinois through his exemplary career with the McHenry County Public Defender's Office. And whereas throughout his career, Mark Cook has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to the rule of law, faithfully upholding the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and ensuring that the principles of due process, equal protection, and fundamental fairness are realized in the courtroom. And whereas Mark Cook has been a steadfast advocate for indigent defendants, recognizing that access to competent and ethical legal representation is essential to the integrity of the justice system and public confidence in the courts. And whereas through his leadership and professionalism, he has earned the respect of judges, colleagues, courthouse employees, prosecutors, and the broader legal community, while contributing significantly to the effective and fair administration of justice in the 22nd Judicial Court. And whereas Mark Cook's legacy endures through the countless individuals whose constitutional rights were protected by his advocacy, the attorneys he mentored, and the institutional strength he provided to the McHenry County Public Defender's Office. Now, therefore it be proclaimed by this County Board of McHenry County, Illinois, and the 22nd Judicial Circuit of McHenry County, hereby recognize and honor Mark Cook for his 40 years of dedicated public service and express sincere gratitude for his steadfast commitment to justice, the rule of law, and the constitutional rights of indigent persons. And be it further proclaimed that we extend Mark Cook our deepest appreciation and best wishes upon his retirement, with gratitude for a career defined by service, professionalism, and enduring contributions to the justice system of McHenry County. And be it further proclaimed that the county clerk is hereby authorized to distribute a certified copy of this proclamation to the McHenry County Public Defender, County Administrator, Deputy County Administrator, Chief Circuit Judge, and Trial Court Administrator, dated at Woodstock, Illinois, this 20th day of January, AB 2026.
you have the floor. Would you like to make a
Just-
comment or? And we would love to give you the proclamation, but we can't because Judge Fedier hasn't signed it yet, and he apologizes, he's on his way. But he had to work. So, we'll
And
leave
it's
it
the
here.
20th because
And,
that's the voting, the committee of the whole? Yeah, okay.
Thanks, all of you. Thanks throughout all the years and your predecessors too over the last 4 decades of always working together and doing what's in the best interest. For me, it was always for the client, but for the people of McHenry County, who in a way we have a segment of them. I appreciate it. I appreciate the proclamation. I appreciate the circuit judges and the system for, for being a part of it. It's a beautiful county, and I can go on and on this morning about what a wonderful place it is from all the different departments working together, and that's a good thing, and I hope it stays that way long after I'm gone.
Thank you.
Thank
Again,
you.
thank you so very, very much. Anybody else have any? Mr. Sager?
Mark, I just want to say that the proclamation, I think, is a great proclamation, but it really is only a surface document. You have served this role in this county with your heart, and we truly appreciate that. And I just want you to know that from a personal perspective, you have my absolute utmost.
Thank you. It's very easy when you work with people that are easy to work with and everyone works together. And it's a dream to come in. I'm going to miss it greatly. I miss it, especially the people. Thank you. And as I said, I'm humbled by the whole thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, thank you very, very much. And like I said, as soon as Judge signs, Alicia, you can get this definitely. Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So new business, we have some interviews this morning, and I'm going to kind of shift it up a little bit. Can I invite you guys, and Chief, do you want to come up to the table? Sure. There are 2 openings of the Marengo Rescue Squad. There were 2 applicants, and thank goodness both of the applicants are returning members, one of them being the president of the board. So I thought maybe we'd take this opportunity this morning. If you'll recall, Chief Kimmel was here previously, and we talked about opportunities to have some consolidation here and how we work together and some of the challenges that the rescue squad as well as some of the fire departments were dealing with. So I thought I'd ask them forward this morning to talk a little bit about that, bring us up to speed, and then open it up to any questions that you might have. These gentlemen have been interviewed several times before. I don't think that we need to know any additional information, but obviously that's in your hands to ask. So John, can I ask you to start and just give us an update on the progress of any kind of consolidation and how that's going to affect the tax levy, et cetera?
Yeah, so we met a while back, and I believe I was here shortly after we met with the Union Fire Protection District. For those of you who aren't aware, there's 3 taxing districts in the Marengo Union area. There's the Marengo Fire Protection District, the Marengo Rescue Squad District, and the Union Fire Protection District. Each fire district protects their own area, and then the Rescue Squad District provides EMS throughout both fire districts. So we're pretty unique in how we work. Marengo Fire, Marengo Rescue have been working together for quite some time now. I'm the second chief that's been the chief of both departments. Our roster is one and the same. If you're a member of the Marengo Fire Department, you're a member of the Marengo Rescue Squad. So we met with Union. We were, as districts, we're always looking to what's our future look like? What's the best, how can we provide the best service to our citizens? And one of the areas we identified was consolidation of the 3 districts. We would not save the taxpayers money by consolidating because we're all 3 at the same tax levy rate. So if you're a resident of Marengo, you're paying the same amount as a resident of Union. You're just paying to Marengo Rescue and Marengo Fire. If you live in Union, you're paying to Marengo Rescue and Union Fire. So if we were to consolidate, there would be no increase, but obviously we need the funding to maintain staffing, so there would be no decrease. You'd be paying the same amount. Where it would benefit us is in areas where consistent response. Marengo has a full-time fire department. We have 8 people staffed a day, three different stations. There's 3 at our main station, 2 at 2 outlying stations. One of them is being in Marengo, one of them being in Union is our outlying stations. So we would have more consistent response. What we would do is, if the consolidation were to occur, we would take the money that the Union Fire Protection District takes in, which is about $240,000, roll that into payroll and add additional staffing so that we would have 3 people in the village of Union versus 2, because the 2 that are currently there are on an ambulance and they're EMS only. They do not do any of the firefighting within Union. So we would add a 3rd person there, which would make what we would call a jump company. If a fire were to come in, they take a piece of fire apparatus, they go attack the fire. If ambulance call comes in, they take the ambulance and they go provide EMS. So that would be a benefit. The other area we could see benefits in is ISO ratings. If we want to promote growth, we want to bring in business in all of those districts, we want to lower our ISO ratings. ISO has become tougher. A lot of the fire districts in the area are finding that out. We just went through it in Marengo, and their requirements for staffing and adequate response on initial call has gone up. So a lot of departments are having to do what's called retrogression and re-go back through and look at their staffing models and those things to try to get to maintain their current ISO ratings. It gets really tough to try to lower them, but through consolidation, improving response, improving staffing, all of those things, we can lower those ISO ratings, which is going to help promote growth. Large businesses are going to come in and they're going to look at those things because it does directly affect their insurance ratings. Also for future growth, we wanted to stay ahead of where we're at. We can see from the south where Hampshire is. If you're driving the south side of the county, you can see the rooftops from McHenry County. They're almost here. The east from Huntley, that Huntley's always growing. There's more subdivisions planned. It's coming. Woodstock is growing, and even Harvard's growing. We're seeing a lot of growth in Harvard. So for Marengo and Union, I would rather see it. We want to be ahead of the game versus playing catch up when the time comes. And that's our biggest concern. Volunteer fire departments, smaller departments, it's harder and harder to find volunteers. I would agree that Union has a good staff of people. They have great people that work there. They're hard workers. They're good firefighters. They have some that are EMS trained, and we've recently hired some. They're younger people that come over and work for Marengo, so they're getting paid to work shift. The problem is that there's a lot of departments looking for people. So those younger guys who are going through training, we're a training ground. Marengo and Union and some of these other smaller departments, we're training grounds. You know, they're going to leave and go to these bigger departments. So while staffing is good now, 2 years from now, it's not going to be so good because those people are going to be getting fully trained and moving on to bigger departments. So the biggest thing for us right now is, you know, we wanted to have more talks. Recently, we received a letter from their board and their chief that they are not interested in consolidation at this point. They feel that they're adequately staffed, they're financially stable, all those things. And I would say, yeah, right now you are. But I would argue that in the future and what's best for the citizens, are we providing the best coverage that we can? I would argue that we're not, because we're not staffing. If you had people there, and when I say people there, I mean during the day, they have to work. So sending 1 or 2 on a car accident or 1 or 2 to a fire, while you're sending people there, it's not an adequate response. Because what if you have a fire? That, you know, smoke detector that's going off. But typically 99% of the time it's a false alarm. But the 1% of the time when it's not, if you're there with 1 or 2 people, you're not sending an adequate response. We want to get to that point. We want to send an adequate response, and that's why we feel, you know, one of the strong points for consolidation is that. Where we go from here, I have to respond back to Union with a letter, you know, explaining again our thoughts and why we feel that, you know, we should move forward with this together. But ultimately, it's up to the taxpayers, and I think we've discussed it. Our boards and Marengo have discussed it, and we feel it's not our decision to say yes or no. It should be our decision to try to put forth the best service we possibly can and let the taxpayers decide what they want to do. No different than running a referendum. If you were to run a referendum to increase your tax levy because you want to provide better services, you're putting that out there for the taxpayers to make that decision. And we feel that's what should happen here. Put an advisory question on a ballot, let the taxpayers decide. If the taxpayers say, yes, we want to see consolidation because it's going to improve response, we can reduce costs through equipment. We wouldn't need as much equipment as we have currently. We can improve our ISO rating, which is going to promote growth and the new business coming, which is going to take some of that burden off of the residents. That should be their decision. It shouldn't be just our decision.
Chief, does your fire district go all the way down, or does that go all the way down? Who covers the industrial area that is zoned that may be further developed once we get that interchange at 90 and
That's
23?
Marengo. Yeah.
That is Marengo. Okay.
Yeah, we go Boone County to Kane to Kelm, and then east to North Union Road, and then north up to just past Kishwaukee Valley Road. So.
Mr. Kunkel.
Have you and Marengo, have you maintained your ISO rating?
We're going through the retrogression right now.
Okay, and when does Union do that?
I don't know. Every department's, they're staggered. It's every.
If they're not able to hold their ISO rating, then that's also another definite push towards merger.
Right.
I believe Union, I don't think they've done it since. I used to be on the Union Fire Department. I was the lead of getting it lowered quite a bit. And I don't know the exact year, but it had to have been about 12 or 15 years ago probably. So I'm sure it's about time for them to come up on the lottery system again.
I just know throughout other counties too, we're seeing those ratings being challenged through Chubb and Berkeley insurances. So right now it has become a hot spot for people, and that would be a pressure point if they.
And there's a lot of departments that are seeing an increase in their ISO rating based on what they're saying staffing levels. They're saying that we should be a minimum of 14 people is what we should be responding to on an initial. But they don't let you use your auto aid agreements to where if Marengo gets called for a fire, Union and Woodstock and Harvard are also getting called at the exact same time. But that doesn't count. It has to be out of your station or stations. So it's really tough to meet those models, especially for
Yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing it.
And I apologize. Can you introduce the
Oh,
gentleman?
sorry.
Are you guys?
This is Scott Higgins. He's our board president, and then Dick Hemmingsen is.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I should have done that in the beginning.
Secretary. Yeah. Just moved around.
So I always ask two, board president, board treasurer, did you say? Secretary. What are your challenges? I mean, outside of what Chief has already noted, are there any other challenges? I noticed on application, both of you talked about ensuring that, taxes stayed low and you're still providing those kinds of services. What challenges are you seeing outside of staffing, which everybody is experiencing, by the way? Every fire district department I know is suffering that challenge.
Yeah, we got a big equipment increases, for costs and everything. That's really affecting us too. And our money we're taking in taxpayer money. And then we have to provide the insurance and for the employees. Everything's getting higher and higher. It's getting harder and harder, You have to really work with the money you got.
Right. Anybody have any questions? Mr. Sager.
Can you just briefly, Chief, talk to us about the communication that you all have on a regular basis with Harvard?
Oh, with Harvard? Yeah, I'm the chief at Harvard as well. So we communicate quite frequently.
Explain how that kind of came about. Would you please, Chief? Just,
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody has that history outside of a few of us old people.
It's been 3 years now. It started off, it was just gonna be a 6-month venture just to kind of help them get going, find a chief. And cover, they had a chief who left, took another job. So they were kind of out in limbo, reached out to us at a county trustees meeting, kind of pulled us aside, hey, what are your thoughts? Do you think this would work? I agreed to it, said we could help them out. Obviously, I know quite a few people from Harvard and have history of working with them. Since then, their board's been happy with the progression that we've made. We've passed a referendum. We'll see that money this year, so we'll be able to increase our staffing, hopefully to 4 people per day. Again, it's going to be finding the people. We've done a bunch of equipment replacements. We're currently working on speccing out a new engine that we should be able to pay cash for. We've saved some money over the last 3 years that we should be able to pay cash for that, which we're excited about because their equipment is an issue. And the board just met last month, December?
Yeah, I think it's first
November,
December.
They had a joint meeting. We're all gonna get together tomorrow to negotiate. My contract is up in May, and Harvard would like to keep that going for 3 more years, so.
I just want to say that I truly appreciate the efforts, and I appreciate you taking that leadership position. And I just like to ask the board members, how do you think that's working and going? Do you have any concerns, any comments? I mean, obviously the chief has kind of split responsibilities in some regards. Do you have any concerns about that, or are you pretty pleased with the agreement the way it's working right now?
I'm real pleased so far. I mean, I ask him all the time, you know, are you still comfortable with it? Do you want to keep doing it? And he seems to think he's handling it okay, so.
Yeah, our biggest concern with it is that he's being overworked a little bit, might get burned out, but
He's
so
young,
far,
we don't care
so
about
far,
Yeah.
he can't retire yet, so.
He thrives
Yeah,
on it,
we're supposed
actually.
to do that, so.
That's right.
But, no, I
Busy
do
guy,
thank you
yeah.
for that, and I think it was the right thing to do to extend that agreement beyond the interim or trial period, if you will. And so I'm very pleased because I think that's important, and I think that does a remarkable job of helping to not only communicate, but to certainly coordinate services for the residents between the 2 communities and Union as well. And so thank you very much for that. Thanks for your leadership, Chief.
It stabilized that area tremendously, so very appreciative of your efforts. And you do kind of thrive on working a lot.
I like to work.
I know
I
you
do
do.
love my job. Every once in a while, I need a break.
And again, you do know that, and we've said it last time you were here, you do know we're here to assist you in any way possible. If you need any legal advice outside of your own attorney, our state's attorney's office is available to you as well. We made that abundantly clear at the interview, so please let us know how we can help. I always believe consolidation is certainly always an option, and if it can save the taxpayer money and provide more coordination and services, that's the way we need to go.
It's not easy. I mean, the fire and rescue, we were at odds for years and years, and we finally got together. Now it's one of the greatest things we've done. I mean, everything works out perfect.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get away from one big intergovernmental agreement. That's how we make it work with Marengo Rescue, Marengo Fire. We have an intergovernmental agreement for full-time staffing. So it's like a $2.5 million agreement that comes from rescue to fire to help pay for the pension and insurance and employee costs and all those things. I mean, it works, but it would be nice if it was just streamlined.
And it just takes time sometimes to educate, make people feel more comfortable on change. Change is difficult.
We went to the village board meeting of Union, and all their village board members were in favor of it, which was really nice. We talked to several of the citizens in Union at different functions and events, like, hey, we heard this, what's going on? So it's kind of getting over the rumors and like, no, that's not really, this is what it would look like. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So we'll get there. It's gonna take time.
And I would offer just as kind of a side comment, as you move forward, perhaps you need to talk about an interim board, with members of both, to make that transition a little smoother and make people feel a little more comfortable, as opposed to just knocking out one and substituting another. That certainly goes a long way with settling some concerns. So I don't know how that's done, I'll be honest, but I would certainly consider it if you can have a referendum question that is in place for a bit. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We're going to deliberate now on how to fill the 2 vacant positions with the 2 applicants. So if you want to stay, you can stay. Otherwise, we'll let you know. Yeah. So I'm looking for a motion because I don't think there's a whole lot of deliberation. Mr. Sager?
Yes, I move that we, with gratitude, extend the opportunity to continue the appointment of our 2 current incumbents.
Seconded by Mr. Shorten, although, oh, no, let's do a roll call vote. But Gloria, did you have a comment?
No, I was going to second, but that's okay.
I saw this guy's arm, so.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Van Hoff.
Yes.
Sager.
Yes.
Uncle.
Yes.
Shorten.
Yes.
Altough.
Yes. Thank you, and congratulations, you're back.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for the
you.
support.
And again, let us know if there's anything that we can do to assist you.
All right, yeah,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, legislative update. So, Alicia, can I ask you to come and join us? And as opposed to removing 8.2 from the consent agenda, can I have you take a few minutes, kind of go over the legislative program and the new look that we have to it, and then any other issues that you think are important as session now starts anew in 2026 down in Springfield as well as in DC?
Yes, thank you for having me, Lacey Schuler, Deputy County Administrator. Yes, I always introduce myself for ADA compliance reasons, so anyhow, I know you know who I am. Anyhow, as you know, the federal government has Congress back in session. They are back in DC now, and there is a pretty pressing matter at hand, and that is the federal budget. Again, their continuing resolution expires on January 30th for various portions of the federal government, excepting agriculture, military, and the legislative branch. So again, very interested to see how funding is continued or not in the coming weeks. Also to keep in mind, Springfield is going to be back in session very shortly. The calendars for the House and Senate are a little bit off in the beginning months, but again, they're going to be coming back in the weeks of the 13th and the 22nd. Also to keep in mind, LRB, the Legislative Reference Bureau, the attorneys that write all of the legislation, their deadline is on January 16th. So again, I'm keeping that in mind as we do have some items in this, or one item in the state program that is different and sponsored by us. So with that, another thing to note is that this year, because I understand that the Council of Governments is trying to abbreviate their legislative program, I have bifurcated the legislative program into a state portion and a federal portion so that our legislators don't have to flip back and forth between the two different sections. So again, feel free to let me know any of your comments.
Does anybody have any comments or questions, Mr. Sager? And then Mr. Kunkel, and I'll also note that McCog is going to go down to Springfield, I believe it's February 16th through the 17th,
17th through 19th.
17th through the 19th. And I would say, if any of you are interested, particularly from this committee, let us know. And we can help accommodate that participation if you're interested. Mr. Sager.
Let Matt talk first.
Oh, Mr. Kunkel.
I just want to say I really appreciated the bifurcation of those two. It was so smooth to read it all, and I absolutely appreciate you put it online for us ahead of time. That was great. Thank you very much.
That's what's supposed to happen. So, yay. Mr. Sager.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's well done, and I appreciate the thoroughness of it, and yet at the same time, you kind of get to points. So it's not always easy to do that, and I think you've done a great job, Alicia. And the only thing that I am a little bit concerned about is that, as you well know, we have very little time when we're going in to talk to representatives, right, or senators. Their time is tight, and so it's one of those things where the conversation needs to be very succinct, short, very pointed in terms of what it is we're trying to accomplish. We're not going to get through this entire document with them. I don't think that's the intent, is to leave this with them. My question is there something else that we can leave with them that identifies McHenry County and identifies these primary goals or the major goals as have been identified here, just by title or topic, that are descriptive, that is a, what is the 60-second elevator context. So that's what I'm asking. In the past, the COG has done, and I think it's been effective, the COG has taken really a half sheet and laminated it and put the McHenry County identification on it and left that along with something like this, but it just hits it, boom, just like that.
We can investigate that and see if we can't follow suit. Maybe put ours on purple or pink.
Right. Because it was surprising to me how many of the legislators that we visited actually had that laminated piece on their desk.
Because it's laminated and it's hard and it's easy.
Back
Yep,
and
you're absolutely right.
visiting them again, and it's right there on their desk, and they can see that. And that's what I think we need to do, is McHenry County needs to be known as people that know how to get things done. You know, work together, identify priorities, and get things done. And I think it's just a professional approach. So that's my 2 bits.
We can do that. Thank you for the suggestion. Thank you.
For that point, then I would just put the items that we are sponsoring ourselves at the state level on that half sheet then, because there's 4 of them. Would that be the approach that you would like the most? I mean,
I think
That
so.
would be the easiest, I think.
I mean, there might be a few regarding funding like LGDF and
But I think that's
on there
standard for
that's-
everybody. Yeah, I think that we prioritize our
Okay.
issues.
I do want it to be tied to the COG priorities as much as possible. Yeah, but I think they are.
They are. We work very closely with them.
Right,
Yes, we do.
exactly.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions? Great, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And did you have anything else? Yeah.
I did have one other item. Yesterday, we were notified that there was a bill filed, House Bill 4269, which repeals the McHenry County-centric township dissolution provision. A couple years back, that had been filed, the McHenry County Board was opposed to it, and it went through the General Assembly anyhow, and then a few years later, there was a legal case on it. It was challenged, it was found unconstitutional, and the law has still been on the books since. House Bill 4269 repeals that provision in its entirety, taking away the McHenry County specific township dissolution portion. I flagged it in particular because, again, it seemed odd that a legislator who is not from McHenry County would take an interest in that particular provision. And I know that a lot of times bills in Springfield tend to shift around a bit, shift around a lot. So again, it's on my radar. It's something I'm keeping an eye out on. And at Chair Altoff's recommendation, I did alert our General Assembly members in the House about the legislation and asked that, they perhaps reach out to the sponsor and learn a little bit more about the intent of the legislation.
And I have a call with him later on this afternoon, so we'll find out exactly the backstory as to why he filed it or not. It's a gentleman I've worked with extensively in the past, so we'll get an answer today, I believe. Mr. Sager?
I'm sorry, I forgot to just ask. On page 4 of the state's initiatives, you identify the new board represents college transportation initiatives. And I think that's great. I just want to point out, of course, that the voting, the representation has already been determined in legislation, and I seriously doubt it's going to change. I don't know that we want it to change. I think we just have to ask ourselves, is it important to continue to have this in here or not? That's the question on this.
I'm open to further discussion on that. I think we just continued it to market so that we're following.
So that they know priority,
Right.
But it is established now, basically.
Right. However, we have no idea how that will move forward, right? I mean.
Well, it's going to move forward with the structure. I think this structure is going to be absolute. It's already kind of determined. And the transition process has already started from the RTA board. And I think local unions are already starting to think and talk about their representation and other things like that. So that portion of it, this portion of it in my mind is already set.
All right, I would adopt this as it is, and let's then continue to work with Mr. Sager as he's got more of an insight into exactly what's going on at RTA, et cetera, and see if maybe we can wordsmith this a little bit better, and we can bring it back then to the full committee
there's
for
nothing wrong with
consideration.
reinforcing.
No, I understand, but maybe we need to, right.
Concepts.
Right.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Mr. Short?
Oh, I'm sorry, I have something else.
Oh, okay. No. All right, Mr. Short.
The wind and solar siting changes, question on that, does that carry over to battery storage?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go.
So wind and solar siting changes, this was an ISACO initiative chaired by Member Altoff on the Wind and Solar Committee. And again, the wind and solar, as I understand it, the battery changes was something that just came back in the energy bill this time around and will now be effective. So again, ISACO didn't have language on this yet, to my knowledge. I'm happy to follow up with Nikaya on it and see where they are, but this was language that was developed specifically and copied verbatim from ISACO as a supported initiative. If we want to be slightly different, again, it's a draft on purpose. I mean, I'm always happy to make, quick changes and have it ready for the board floor, but again, it's all up to you guys.
And again, it is up to you. We're tracking it. It's kind of now linked together, battery storage and the siting, solar siting and zoning. So, I mean, we can change the language and include specifically battery storage in this if you want, just so we don't lose sight of that component.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that was sitting on my periphery, but right now Prairie Grove has a project that I don't know all the details on it, but it sounds like it's a pretty significant battery storage facility, 50 acres, if my memory serves correct. So that to me is worse than the solar.
Can we note that, and can we wordsmith it so that we make sure that we do include language with regard to battery storage and regulations? And I do know that here in our planning and development department, we have individual staffers who are tracking this as well and offering recommendations to the state as to how to look at it and how to ensure that we're protecting our constituents and residents, so.
But it doesn't hurt for us to add that verbiage into ours, and I think we really should on the battery component.
So what, can we do that? I mean, it's a process. I certainly would approve what we have in front of us as part of the consent agenda, subject to the fact that we're going to work on those 3 initiatives, a shorter version to take down to Springfield, better wordsmithing with transportation, and then adding the battery storage component to the siting of energy. If we can do that.
Yes.
And note that, and can we note that specifically in the minutes too then, Kath? Okay. Great. Anything else? Seeing none, thank you very much. We'll move on to the routine consent agenda. Mr. Kunkel?
8.5, 8.6, and 8.14.
I'm sorry, 8.5, 8.6, 8. Oh, that one was on mine as well. And I also would like to take off 8.9. Anything else? Mr. Short?
8.1.
8.9, 8.14. Anybody else? Mr. Sager?
Yeah, this is just for the request for permission to comment before voting on 8.7, 8.8, 8.10, 8.11, and 8.2. Just a comment question. So I think we've removed almost everything.
We have, so.
I don't want to vote separately on 8.7, 8, 10, 11, and 13. I'd just like to ask a question for clarification.
Is that acceptable? Because I'll go there first, if that's okay. So 8.7, those are all the sheriff items. Senator,
Right.
can I have you, Sheriff, you want to come up too?
But these,
Just so we can say good morning.
but these pertain to 8.5 and 8.6.
Do you want to discuss them all at the same time?
I was thinking if we took 8.1 first and then 5, 6 down the line, then we could do the next mass in a group and jump ahead.
Sure, okay. Let's leave you sit and gather your thoughts, and we'll do 8, we'll pull 8. Can I have a motion to approve? No, let's discuss this. 8.1, I'm gonna look to you, Scott. 8.1, the video terminals, that was part of our budget, was it not?
Yeah, this was presented during the budget
Yeah.
discussion. This is something that the statutes enable the McHenry County to do, and that's the video gaming terminals in unincorporated areas. We are permitted under statute to license those and collect a fee for that license, and license, of course, is a privilege. The county has not been doing that. Other counties do, and our Kathy Bow, in her due diligence, and uncovered this opportunity. And with that, we crafted an ordinance that provides for that regulation, because the public interest is to regulate the video gaming facilities. And so what's before you is the ordinance to put that mechanism in place to license video gaming terminals, and that then would go into effect. I think we're tracking, is it June 1? Is it June 1 implementation? So it would be incorporated into this fiscal year. This would be, on one side a revenue stream, but more importantly, the public interest of regulating video gaming facilities is really the nexus.
And most municipalities also have ordinances in place that obviously tax these devices as well. Mr. Sager.
additional taxing that's possible is to get a license or a permit for the video gaming machine companies to pay.
Yes.
You can charge, I think municipalities are charging like $1,000 annual permit fee for those companies. Now, you know, there's not that many companies out there, but it's additional income. I also would say that, you know, starting, I think you're starting a little bit low at $250. I think a lot of municipalities are at $500.
We're a home rule, or not a home rule
Right,
county.
and that's-
So we're very limited to what.
Right, okay.
What the
Sorry
statutes
about that.
provide.
Yep.
Does anyone know how many facilities we're talking about?
We currently have 190 terminals.
190?
Terminals. We're allowed to have a max of 6, and most of them are maxing out.
That's substantial.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, and again, we talked about this during our budget discussions, maybe not in absolute detail, but we did talk about it as an additional revenue stream and trying to balance. So this shouldn't be like a new concept.
I just think that I would like to see us investigate a fee on the gaming machine
Operators,
operators.
to be able to operate within the county. Yeah.
And they're accustomed to doing that.
So we're talking roughly 30 different establishments if we're going off of the formula. So it's $250 per terminal per year. The fee, what's our responsibility then once we take on the regulation? Are we?
Well, we do have, so we'll be issuing a sticker onto each machine. And we have a similar setup for our amusement machines, which is already on the county's books. But this enables the county now a mechanism to go in and to regulate and to enforce, to ensure that there was compliance with the ordinance and with the state statute. With our responsibility is, you know, its enforcement is something that is at the direction and prerogative of the county. We're not obligated to go in, although the establishments are obligated to have this license once it's in place.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
Enough? But it also assists the state if the state chooses, because it's under their statute, similar to liquor. The state chooses to go and ensure that it's operating appropriately. It's better to have an ordinance in place for them to utilize for that purpose. Okay.
We're able to pull reports from the state, so we know exactly how many are licensed in the state to make sure that they are compliant with us as well.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
And in addition to your $1,000, after looking at the statute and talking with the state's attorney, we're not allowed to charge any of those extra fees being non-home rule. But we are looking into maybe changing up some of our liquor licenses next year so that we can capture that a little bit. So currently, like right now, if we have a B license for a liquor store and they want to have video gaming machines, we have to put them in an A license so that they can open and pour the liquor. We're thinking of changing that license to like a G1, which would be or a G2, so it's a liquor store, but with that, which keeps them separate from the other bars and restaurants. And then we're also looking to have another license for a G1 or a G2, again, for just the video gaming cafes. So these establishments like Lucky whatever, and that's strictly all they are. And then that way we can charge them more for those particular types of licenses than we would your normal restaurant or bar. And then we can also charge them those $1,000 application fees as well.
And I would tell you, it's actually not going to be a huge amount because there's a limited number of operators. So you may have different establishments, but yeah.
Well,
so
maybe that's,
it's
are you saying, Kathy, because we're not home rule, we're not able to charge the operator fee? Because that's separate from the retailer.
Yeah, that was our understanding with the statute, yeah. We were only allowed to charge the $250 per terminal, and that was it. And that $250 is actually supposed to be split between the establishment owner and the terminal device owners, but it's up to the establishment.
Yeah, it's up to the establishment.
To get that reimbursement.
Right.
I have heard that there is one establishment device owner that has kind of a monopoly on the video gaming, and I've heard it from speaking with some other counties that a lot of times they just pay the whole thing for the establishment.
Right.
So, and we put it strategically a month later than the liquor license renewals. because we can't have one dependent on the other. And we wouldn't want like the terminal device owners to pay for it and then something falls through with the liquor license and they don't renew and then we have to issue refunds. So this way, if we have all of the liquor license renewals complete, and then 1 month later, we follow up with the device terminals.
Sounds to me like you're on top of it. Thank you.
As always. Any other questions about 8.1? All right, we'll move on. So we're going to do,
We need to vote on it.
I think it's going to stay on the consent agenda.
Okay.
We haven't done that yet, so let's just, because this is just discussion, not necessarily, I think everybody's in concurrence. So moving on, 8.5, 8.6, all the car stuff.
So 8.5 is the coroner's office, but I can,
Okay, no,
I have
Michael's,
questions. Yeah, I have specific questions, that's why I pulled them specifically.
okay, well then let's,
Can I do 8.5 first, fast and easy?
sure.
All I wanted to find out from Adam
Michael,
is,
yeah, come on.
obviously we've done a reduction of add-ons or upfitting to this particular vehicle because our coroner not necessarily doing a lot of pursuit driving.
Sure he is.
Well, that's what you think,
We
right?
didn't lose fleet pricing by dropping off what was typically the police add-on to this, correct?
Correct. Equipment on the vehicles is different than the vehicle itself.
Right, but we still were able to get this at fleet pricing.
Correct. Yes.
Done and done. It's awesome.
Excellent, thank you. Easy peasy. All right,
Enjoy
now,
the new ride.
8.7, 8.8, those 8.6, 8.9,
Yeah.
car stuff.
I have two more with 8.6. Can I do that now?
Yes,
Or
go.
I want to monopolize the
No,
time?
no, go ahead.
Our garage became certified with the Dodge Chrysler moniker, whatever. Little niggle in my brain seems to remember that we are able to do our own warranty work that way also?
Get reimbursed by the
And we are reimbursed by, okay, so, and we are specifically tracking that, which actually makes it better for us to run newer vehicles than to run the old, where we are paying for those repairs, correct? And then one other question, with that same thought in mind on warranty and such, who will be our service provider for Harley Davidson should problems arise there? I know we can do work in garage, but that won't be under a warranty basis there.
for sure. So I know that Rob has been working with, I forgot who won
it's the House of Harley in Wisconsin.
but I know all Harley can do
That's my
our
question.
manufacturing, or the warranty work.
So
I know
we
our
can
guys
take
have
it
a little,
local?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's.
And we go
that's
to
the
Woodstock, is that
question.
typically who we
Yeah.
utilize? Yeah, that would make sense.
Because I understand the way you're making this fiscally sound for us with the new vehicles. I understand that completely. But of course, all those little tiny nuances like warranty work and how far we and how long a piece of equipment's out of service, that all comes back to be a cost to the county. Just making sure that we're all aware of that. That's all smart play.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I also add, and I don't know if we brought this to your attention before, but our garage workers also do all the upfitting. We used to have Ultra Stroke do that, so we brought that in-house as well. That's, you can put a money amount on it, but it's, at this point, it's just become
It's significant.
one of our efficiencies that we do.
Time too, I would assume. Mr.
Yes.
Sager.
Yeah, I apologize for this up front, but I've got to give a shout out to the city of Woodstock. Woodstock Harley Davidson is the most utilized service for Harley in the United States.
That was my question. That's why I put it that way. I didn't want to.
We asked them to bid. We talk
Yeah.
to them all the time, and we've worked with them in the past.
Great. Well, I'm not talking about bidding, I'm just talking about that's the service they have level. They're an exceptionally fine professional service agency. The second thing you might be interested in is that they have the #1 motorcycle rentals of any Harley company in North America. And it's because they advertise and rent bikes for the Route 66
Yeah, smart.
tours. So they outfit people from all over the world. They want to do that. They fly into Chicago, they meet him with the truck, and they bring him out, they fit him with the bike, and then they.
That's
It's
cool.
incredible, isn't it?
That is, that's very cool.
Incredible. And then on the tour, they have, follow trucks that have motorcycles inside in case something goes wrong.
And I do offer that opportunity to any other member of this committee to brag about your communities as well. Mr. Cook.
I've seen the service firsthand. My brother came in from Hawaii. We used that service to rent a bike, and we went all the way around Lake Michigan and then took the ferry back across for a little more fabulous service. You couldn't have asked for better service from them. Bike came back dirty and road worn, and they just said, thank you. No upcharge, no nothing. He flew back to Hawaii and life was good, yeah.
And once again, Matt, that was from the city of
Woodstock.
Well, they told me
The
to shut up
participants
about
were
Crystal
proud. Mr. Shorten.
Crystal Lake does have a Honda dealer. The building looks nice. I've been inside a couple times. It's nice inside. And everyone was nice.
All right, moving on. Mr. Sager, you had 8.7?
Right, 8.7, 8.8, 8.10, 8.11, 8.13. And the only reason I wanted to comment or ask about these is that every one of them are with the Sheriff's Department, of course. And it is that we are approving over $30,000, but we don't have any upper limits on those. You want to just comment on that?
Sure. So, by ordinance, when we spend over 30,000, we have to bring it before you.
Right.
It's actually, I look at it as just being ceremonial. You've already approved our budget for the year. This is us managing it. In the resolutions, there isn't a not to exceed, and that's in the line where all of these come out of the same line item. So, as part of my budget, I was approved to spend up to $280,000. And with each of these entities, we strongly anticipate going over 30,000. So instead of waiting, I'm just getting it over with now so that we can have smooth business.
I think we all know that that's the case, but at the same time, it's important just to have that as a part of the record. So
Great to make
I
it
agree,
public.
I
Thank you.
agree.
right.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
It actually used to be 20,000, so 30,000 is a lot nicer.
Right.
We'll work on maybe 40.
Right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions to that specifically? 8.9, again, same situation, just an explanation of exactly how that works and where that comes from. It's the grant from the Community Foundation
Yes.
again, which is extraordinarily important, and we thank them greatly, but let's give them an opportunity to give it a shout out for you guys.
Do you want to talk about this one? This was.
Yeah, sure. So when they had put out the transformation grant, it was an idea of a program that provides something above and beyond to the community. And obviously we all can agree that our police social work program does that. But we also had to have an additional, I guess, program on that. It wasn't just maintaining your current program. So it's not just offset costs of what we're currently doing. So we have a couple things in the hopper right now that are going on. A lot of it has to do with engaging our youth. Because we all can agree that if we can get in front of kids early and understand what resources are out there and it's okay not to be okay and how we can do things, that was big. So we are working with our local high schools and getting in front of them and children with, you know, their social workers at the high school, their administration, trying to get in front of like assembly type functions so that we can talk about, and our social work program can talk about resources and just education and get engagements on that. And that's, you know, that's a transformation from what we've done before, right? That met the needs. Simultaneously, we are also piloting a program. One of our sergeants in patrol, his wife works in District 47, and we are working with our hostage negotiators and our police social workers on communication. And while this really isn't building into the grant, it's part of what we're doing. So I think it's a really, really unique experience that we're gonna have, and that may actually play into how we're working with the assemblies as well. So the $75,000 for 2 years, $150,000 grant isn't to offset our budget already for the police social work program. It is additional things that we're doing with it, with the understanding that at the end of the 2 years, if we see that there's an additional cost, we have to make that determination. This isn't like a guarantee for, you know, life. But we thought this is a really, really good opportunity, a good time to do it because we're kind of rocking and rolling with that program. And I think in conjunction with all the stuff that we're asking for, either federal grants and state grants that show that we are continuously doing more, I think that's helpful for us when we go back to our legislators as well.
That's what I wanted you to explain to everybody, that this is not something that maybe will continue on ad infinitum.
Right.
You have to decide. But in the interim, this is a great grant for you to use for 2 years to expand. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Shaka.
Yes, along those same lines, Alicia just identified the fact that we have the opportunity for McHenry County to be recognized in state social service program funds, right? And should that be approved, I know we've been working for this for a long time, should that be approved, do you see that money to kind of supplement right now and just replace the funds that we are putting into this program, and then releasing those funds then, or are you looking at certain areas for expansion?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So you're talking about the state funding our police social work. They're calling it a pilot program, but our police social work program.
Right.
I think initially that's a board conversation that we have with the police social work board. But I think, and when we had talked about it, I think it is to alleviate some of the funds that the 3 entities are putting in, the mental health board, the local partners, and the county. So, I mean, just for simple forms, right, we always talk about $900,000, $300,000 from each of us. If that can be fully funded, I think at some point in time we have that conversation where I don't want to lose capital funding into that program, so we can kind of offset costs, but the goal is that the taxpayer dollars that are paying to get this program running, they're already paying it through state taxes. I think we alleviate the county taxes on that. That would be the ultimate goal, so that we can kind of release those funds back into whatever the mental health board can reallocate those for, whatever the county can, and our local agencies and local partners can.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Any other questions with regard to this item? Thank you. And then 8.14, I just, again, same situation, just explanation, a reminder of exactly this is something we talked about during budget. So I just want you again to explain how that's being.
That's when I pulled
Yeah.
it.
So this is the radios?
Yes.
Okay. The radios are a capital project which every 7 to 10 years we have to come forth and ask for that. This resolution is really just the funding portion of it. But, so you know, we're purchasing 588 radios. It's not just for the sheriff's office, it's for the whole county. We've gone through what kind of radios, we've gone through with the department heads on exactly what they need, and we've been able to dwindle down what those radios are. But there's 2 different kinds, there's N50s and 70s, and 70s are really the ones that are going out on the road with our deputies. They perform at a very high rate, so we're able to eliminate mobiles, which are very expensive radios that go into the vehicles. And with all our towers, our microwave system that we put in place in 2017, we really don't have any down areas with those. So the resolution that our CFO is going to be bringing forth here, and transportation is really just the funding component of it, and I believe it's that half of it is from RTA funds.
RTA.
Last time RTA paid for almost all of them.
And if you'll remember the wonderful whiteboard situation, any of you who were here for the Finance Committee meeting, that was a long-term project during that meeting about what we wanted potentially to leave in the budget and what funding sources we were going to use. And the radios were a priority for many who were at that meeting. Mr. Kunkel.
My question was on the service life, which you've alluded to as 7 to 10 years. We are just now hitting the 6-year mark for the radios as they are now. What is considered, the problem I have, and all businesses have, with this technology, it outmodes so quickly, and we're putting more and more money into it. It only makes fiscal sense for us as a county to hang on to those pieces that are still working effectively, as long as we can for that service life. When we opt out of those early, we've cheated those funds, that's the wrong word, but we've not utilized those funds well from the past, and then that starts to put us in accelerated costs for the new ones. what is the service life of the new projected service life?
So our contract with Motorola started in 2017, so we're not on year 6 with the contract, but it was all part of a larger project when we were remodeling our dispatch center. So it wasn't just the radios at the time, it was the consoles, it was furniture. We busted up the room to add more places. We went from 6 to 9.
But it's my understanding the radios came online in 2019. Is that not correct?
That is not correct.
Okay.
That is not
So
correct.
according to the resolution, that's what it says.
And I apologize because you did have me review it, but the contract with Motorola was 2017 and we were rolling out through 2018.
Okay. So that's a horse of another color when we're actually pushing that 7-10 year mark versus 6.
Yeah, and actually our consoles will be before you probably in the next 12 to 18 months because those are gonna need replacement. Motorola asked us to do it at the same time because for them it's, easier, but we're holding off on that because those are still.
Do we know the projected service life of the new units?
The new portable radios? Well, it's a 10-year contract that we're entering into, and it's a contract with the state of Illinois that we're purchasing them off of. A lot of it's usage, battery life. Right now our batteries aren't holding, so the radio itself isn't the issue. It's, and we buy batteries, but I can't speak as intelligently as you probably want me to because I'm not a radio person, but.
It's not a matter of intelligence,
Okay.
It's a matter of fiscal dollars and cents. When we buy an asset, we want that asset to actually produce
Yeah.
for us with a limited amount of downtime and a limited amount of repair time. So that's kind of it. It does help me that I know that we are farther along the 7 to 10 versus 6. A year's a year.
I'll tell you, this is a topic of conversation with the Illinois Sheriff's Association as there's still agencies that aren't on Starcom and Motorola radios. As it relates to assuring that Motorola, who really at the end of the day, there's Kenwood radios out there, but Motorola has the market on this.
Monopoly on it.
They do, absolutely. So that's not lost upon a lot of the sheriffs that utilize those radios. So I think we're in agreement with you that money's tight and we want to make sure that the contracts that we have, that Motorola is upholding their end of the bargain, that we do get longevity and term of service, that the product actually meets that term as well. So I'm with you on that, and that's something that we talk about as well to make sure that.
Defects and
Different story,
accidents
right?
aside.
Totally.
We need to be closer to our 7 to 10 year, that's all.
Sure, and I think we do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, the resolution was a little vague with that 19, so.
So I think the resolution was the end of 2018, but the radios were purchased in the beginning of 19, so we're right at 7 years.
Is that what you're coming with, Scott?
Well, actually, it was more comment on.
It was 17, I'm sorry. So maybe the radios were deployed, but I'm not understanding the 19. Because our project was in 17. We remodeled the dispatch center and that's when we started moving those through. So I don't know. I'll have to look at why we're off on
The
that.
actual purchase versus the resolution.
And that could be,
Yeah.
because that could be.
I got my phone in front, Tiki says it was 17 as well.
And the only reason I know is because ETSB provides when applicable, reimbursement grant to agencies, all agencies, police and fire in the county. And when you guys did the original purchase, the agencies you dispatched for had the opportunity to buy during that time as well. And so it was part of their contracts that you backbilled them that we reimbursed for. So I'm gonna go with it was 2017 based on my,
It was a multi-year project, because we used to own the equipment on top of the water towers, and we would lease that. It was a huge thing going to having Motorola take that over for us. Scott, you remember, because we were involved in that, and then putting the microwave up for the redundancy, taking away some T1 lines. It was a huge project and multi-year.
You're much smarter than you think you are, Beth, so.
I don't even know where that came from.
And a better memory than
Osmosis.
Yeah.
No, she knows.
But that makes me feel more comfortable too, the 2017 is, but
me too.
yeah.
17 makes you more.
And Scott, did you want to finish,
Yeah,
please?
I just want to remind the committee that this is using RTA funds. RTA funds are limited in their use. It's for transportation and for public safety. McHenry County has held steadfast to using these funds for transportation and not relying on them for operating costs or other costs relating to public safety. There are a few limited times in which it was used. The 2017-2018 radio purchase. At this current budget year, RTA funds will be used for squad cars, 500,000 of RTA funds for purchasing the squad cars. And I believe when the corrections cameras, was that RTA funds?
The security.
The security cameras in the
software cameras.
corrections?
Oh, the SOMA, do we use some for the jail management?
The point being, very limited use of RTA funds for anything other, for public safety as opposed to transportation. And that's just been how McHenry County's operated. This is another ask in relation to the cost and what it would do to the capital plan. And when Finance and Audit took a look at the capital plan and the expenses required, this drained a lot of the money out of the money for other projects that we wanted to do. So transportation will be deliberating on this tomorrow, and then it ultimately go to Finance and Audit, and then before you as a county board. But I just want to say, put some light on the importance of this decision and the limited use of RTA funds.
Thank you. Mr. Sager?
I think I'm going to tag on to Scott's commentary. I was not particularly in favor of using the RTA funds for anything except for transportation projects, but at the same time, I do understand that I was particularly opposed to the vehicle purchase, but nonetheless, I put that over here. That decision was made by the majority, and I support that. But I do think that this is, every 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and I think that this is the most appropriate use of RTA funds for this particular project. So I have no concerns whatsoever with regards to that.
Again, it was a very, if you were here for the Finance Committee, it was a very long and detailed conversation. And Mr. Sager was very eloquent in saying he didn't necessarily believe that was the right, but he was outvoted. So I'm just, we beat this, we beat this horse. Yeah, we just did. So, Mr. Kunkel.
I'm a little sensitive being on translation to the RTA funds too, but that wasn't my point. Taxpayer funds are taxpayer funds. Right. I don't care what silo we're pulling them out of. I would like to see a 10-year asset make it beyond year 7. And that's all my question was on the date of the 19th. All good, ready.
And I think that gives you ample opportunity to go back and talk to other sheriffs and say how we beat you up about 7 versus 10.
That's fine, I can do that, no problem.
But now you have paper. Any other questions or comments with regard to the specific item on the consent agenda? If there are none, it didn't appear that there was any opposition, so I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Again, I'm going to go Mr. Shorten and Mr. Sullivan. Can we have a roll call, please?
Sager.
Yes.
Kunkel.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Van Hoff.
Yes?
Shorten.
Yes.
Altough.
Yes. Thank you. We have
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. And I think we're just doing our due diligence, so I appreciate the comments and the review of all of these items as well. I think that's what our job is supposed to be, so thank you. We have no old business, we have no reports, we have no executive session. I will just remind everybody that this afternoon we do have a little celebration for Peter Austin's retirement. If you can attend, that would be lovely. Just remind all of you that. And seeing no other business, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Ms. Van Hoff?
Motion.
Mr. Sullivan, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.